You live on a roller coaster of ambition and self-doubt. There are some days you wake up in the morning ready to conquer the world, and other days you're questioning and doubting if you even have what it takes to close that next deal, or raise your rates, or just grow your business to the next level. If you stay on that roller coaster for too long, you might give up on your dreams altogether. And that's why today, in this conversation, I want to talk to you about the 4 secrets of building unwavering confidence. Without confidence, you might talk yourself out of opportunities that are right in front of you. You might settle for less than you deserve. Or worse, you never reach your full potential. To really break this down and to help you understand how to build unwavering confidence, I am going to use Patrick Mahomes as a backdrop. Patrick Mahomes is the quarterback of the Kansas City Chiefs. And in the last 5 years, the Kansas City Chiefs have won 3 of the last 5 Super Bowls. And that's not by accident. I strongly believe that it is in part because of the leadership and confidence that Patrick Mahomes displays while playing the games. There's one play in particular I want to break down that Patrick Mahomes displays the most confidence, and it's this play that's during Super Bowl 54. Kansas City Chiefs are playing the San Francisco 49ers. It's a fourth quarter, 7 minutes and 13 seconds left in the game, and the Kansas City Chiefs are down by 10 points. Patrick Mahomes is in his first Super Bowl, and he's a very young quarterback, only 24 years old. But Patrick Mahomes goes to the sidelines, and he asks his coach this question.
Do we have time to run walls?
And it was him asking that one question and then running the play that turned the entire game around. I'm gonna have you watch this play, and then I'll break down the 4 secrets that Patrick Mahomes displays to building unwavering confidence.
What are we thinking? Do we have time to run walls? Gun straight right, 3-jet chip, walls, wide funnel. Gun straight, you get open. Both y'all get open. You be working.
It's 3rd and 15. Chiefs need some Mahomes magic.
It was a brilliant call, made at the perfect time by a 24-year-old in his first Super Bowl.
3rd and 15. Shotgun snap, drops back 5, got the block. He winds up, he throws a long pass, wide open Hill. Catches the ball at the 22 of San Francisco. Damn! What a play by Mahomes!
The first giant chunk of the game on 3rd down and 15. And Mahomes guns it for 44 yards.
And that's ability of the arm.
Get set. Wide right.
They move to the right side. They throw back to the end zone. Touchdown! Kansas City!
Bring it. Let's get it. Let's get it. Hit that over. Hit that over. Let's go get it. Go get it. Go get it. Hey, go get it. Go get it. Go get it.
Chiefs have life. 6:13 to go.
And that life started with the long pass to Cheetah, keeping the drive alive.
All right, so using this play as a backdrop, let's break down the 4 secrets to building unwavering confidence. Secret number 1, stamina. Don't stop short. What stands out to me about this play is that in the beginning, Patrick Mahomes goes to the sideline and he doesn't say to his coach, hey, this is how we're gonna win this game. We need to run this play. Instead, he goes and asks him a question. Do we have time to run this play? Now, why is that important? Because it shows that Patrick Mahomes is not 100% confident or 100% sure about what play to call in this situation. They're down by 10. He's trying to figure out how do we get this touchdown to at least be down by 3, but he's not 100% sure. And what happens next? Even though he's not 100% sure, he runs the play anyway. At this point in the game, everyone else, fans, analysts, maybe even some of the coaches, are counting the Kansas City Chiefs out as losers. There's only 7 minutes left in the game. How can they come back in the fourth quarter when they need 2 touchdowns to win? Patrick Mahomes had the stamina to push through the doubt. Despite what everyone else was thinking, he didn't stop short. He pushed through. As creative entrepreneurs, sometimes we get doubtful, and we allow that doubt to stop us from moving forward. I mean, I get it. You get rejection after rejection, and it's just like, What's the point? What's the point of trying one more time? Like, will they really move forward and working together? Maybe, maybe not. But if it's me, I'm trying again. Is it worth my time pitching for this project? Especially when they've already told me they're looking at 3 other companies? Maybe, maybe not. But if it's me, I'm pushing through and pitching for that project. Is it even worth continuing this business? What's the point? Everything feels so hard and difficult. I've been there before. And when I say I've been there before, I'm not just saying that. My first 5 years in business, I failed. I struggled to make $20,000 a year, and I had to find a way to push through on one of my darkest days where I felt like there was no way I was going to be able to come out of it. There was one morning I woke up and I heard the sounds of chains hitting the floor. And it had always been a nightmare to hear these chains hitting the floor. I jumped up out of bed, I went outside and looked at the front window, and what it was a tow truck driver coming to repossess my car for the second time in 8 months. I go back in the room, sit on the bed, and at this point, I'm ready to call it quits because 5 years in the business, I'm still struggling to make money. In that moment, I get a phone call from a client I had been working with for a year. Her name was Keisha Dior. She goes by Keisha Kayor now. And Keisha Dior calls me in excitement, and she's like, Jude, you won't believe it. I just got off the phone with my accountant. He said we made $1 million. For people that don't know who Keisha Dior is, she was creating a cosmetic business at the time called Kayor Cosmetics. I was filming the documentary for it. So when she launched the business, we also put out the documentary. And in 1 year, 12 months, she had made $1 million. In 5 years, I was still struggling to make $20,000 a year. At that moment, there were two ways I could have gone. I could have gone really bitter and it was just like, you know what? This is truth. I don't know what I'm doing. Here's another person who's been doing it less time than me and making $1 million, or created value for your client. What was the difference between me and her? Why was she able to make $1 million and I wasn't? And I decided to take the second route. And I went back and learned marketing and sales. So the first 5 years were a complete struggle for me. Because it was just like, yeah, I was hustling, but I didn't really know what I was doing because I didn't understand marketing and sales. I didn't understand the numbers, the economics behind what I was doing. But once I saw Keisha was able to make $1 million from it, I was like, okay, there's something big here. And for context, Keisha's project was only $3,000, right? So there was this numbers game that I really didn't understand back then, the amount of work and the value that I put into the work that I'm doing, that completely transformed after that. It's not easy to have the stamina to push through, especially after a difficult blow, but I can tell you from experience that having the stamina to push through, having the stamina to try one more time is the only reason that I could go from charging $3,000 per project to charging well over $100,000 per project today. When you think about Patrick Mahomes, even when everybody else counted Kansas City out, Patrick Mahomes didn't count himself out. Instead, he had the stamina to push through. He had the stamina to not only go to his coach and ask the question, but then to actually run the play. To have confidence, you need the stamina not to stop short. Don't stop short, because it's when you stop short, you could be one more opportunity away, but you decided to stop short. Secret number 2 to building unwavering confidence: study, master your craft. After every game, athletes will spend time studying game film. They'll look at what went right, what went wrong, maybe what play could they do a better job at. And more importantly, they'll study the game film of their opponents that they're getting ready to play. So it's no secret, I'm pretty confident that Patrick Mahomes spent time studying game film from his own games and also the game film of San Francisco 49ers. And it was because of studying this game film that Patrick Mahomes went to the sideline and asked his coach, do we have time to run the Wasp? Because that specific play, the Wasp, had actually worked really well in a game that they had played a year before. So what does it look like for you to study or watch your own game film? It might mean recording your pitch meetings, or it might mean recording a workshop. Even if it's on your cell phone, recording that workshop so that you can go back and watch it and see how the audience responded to certain things that you said. Or if you're in a sales meeting, a pitch meeting, seeing what objections and questions that your client might have. When you take the time to study your own game film, what happens is that when you're under pressure, confidence will come out. Very much like a sponge. When you squeeze and wrench a sponge, water comes out. Why? Because that's what you put into it. Your input determines your output. Your output becomes confidence because now you know the subject, you know what you're talking about. You know why this client may be asking you this question, and now you know how to respond to it. So for example, I have been featured on over 150 podcasts. And it doesn't matter if it's a big podcast or a small one, I have actually gone back to listen to every single one of them. Why is that? Because I know I can get better at it. When I'm listening back to each podcast, I'm making a note of the question the host asks me and my answer. And then maybe sometimes I'm thinking to myself, I might have answered that in a different way. I'm studying my own game film because I know that communication and being able to share my stories is a big part of growing my business. Another way to watch game film or to master your craft is to study other successful entrepreneurs. Read books written by successful entrepreneurs. I'm a ferocious reader. I love to read. I read about 60 books a year. And now I'm at a point that instead of reading self-help books, I love reading biographies. Why? Because in biographies, you're getting to read the stories of these entrepreneurs and what they did in critical moments, not just how they were successful in the end, but moments that they probably weren't as confident or moments that they made mistakes and how they might do things differently. What you want to have is a playbook to pull from. You don't want to be caught in a challenging situation and not know what to do. Challenges will come. Curveballs will be thrown at you. But if you study game film, you'll have a playbook to pull from. I'll give you a perfect example of how this happened to me recently. In May of 2022, my team and I were filming a docuseries in Delaware. And part of this docuseries was filming a 3-day conference for my client. While we're filming the conference goes on break, they go on a lunch break, and my team and I, there's 4 of us, we're filming in the lobby area of the conference center. Well, after we finish filming the interview, my team goes back into the main conference center. I remain behind talking to my client. And as soon as I get back in the conference center, my head of production, Jason, he walks up to me, he looks at me, he says, "We just got robbed." Now, Jason can be a bit of a jokester, so I'm waiting for him to smile and laugh and play it off, but he's got a dead serious look on his face. While we were in the lobby area filming my client's interview, someone had walked into the conference area where the rest of our equipment were and stole almost everything. We had walked into the conference center with 4 cameras, 10 lenses. They took 2 cameras, 8 lenses. And the only reason they didn't take the rest is because we were filming with it. Now, in this moment, I have never had this happen to me. At that point, I had been in business 16 years and never had that happen to me where someone came and stole equipment. But I have to spring into action. I began to think to myself, how do I deal with this situation? There's a lot of moving parts to deal with. There's first doing the police report or calling the police and then doing the police report. There's managing my team. There's managing the client. The first thought that came to my mind was about Jeff Imlet. Jeff Imlet wrote a book called Hot Seat. And if you don't know who Jeff Imlet is, he was the CEO of General Electric for 17 years. But the day that Jeff Imlet took over General Electric was September 10th, 2001. Yeah, I'm pausing on purpose to let that sink in. The very next day was September 11th. And you may not know this about General Electric, but General Electric, part of their business is that they build planes. They build parts for planes and they actually build full planes. And so taking over on September 10th, 2001, and then having the September 11th attack happen the next day, 2 of the 4 planes that were used in the attack were built by General Electric. On top of that, when Jeff Imlet took over, he took over from Jack Welch, which at the time, Jack Welch was considered one of the best CEOs of all time. You're taking over from one of the best CEOs of all time. As if that's not enough pressure, September 11th attacks happened the next day. And so on day 1 of him being CEO of this very big company, he talks through in the beginning of this book, Hot Seat, how he manages dealing with this pressure. And for him, the very first thing that was on his mind is everyone okay? Because it could have been that there were executives or employees on the planes. It could have been that one of the towers, they were actually General Electric employees in one of the towers, so it could have been that their employees had possibly didn't survive. But in his mind, the only thing that mattered is everyone okay? And so that's how I managed to handle the situation as well. My first thought was, is my team okay? And I gave them permission that if they didn't want to continue, because we still had a day and a half to film this conference, if they didn't want to continue, if they felt violated, if they didn't feel safe, I would advocate for them. And I'd let my client know, hey, we're not continuing. And so that's why I recommend biographies over self-help books. Because when you read biographies, you're not just getting advice on, hey, here's what to do, but you're getting to understand the stories and the moments and how they unfolded and how that entrepreneur handled them. And so I'm going to recommend really quickly a few books, a few biographies that I've read. This is The Ride of a Lifetime by Robert Iger. Robert Iger was the CEO of Disney. He actually worked his way up from the bottom, being the production assistant, to being the CEO of Disney. And then there is Crazy Faith by Michael Todd. Michael Todd was a music producer. That's his background. Ended up becoming a pastor, but many of the things that he was able to do as pastor, he calls it crazy faith. He had crazy faith. He tells the story of how he was able to grow the church from a few hundred members to thousands of members worldwide. Another book is Not Fade Away by Peter Barton. Peter Barton was a media executive, and he decided to write this book when he was diagnosed with stomach cancer, I believe. And it's a book about what the real meaning of life is from his perspective. Another book is Unreasonable Hospitality by Will Guidara. Will Guidara ran one of the most famous fine dining restaurants in New York, a restaurant called 11 Madison Avenue. In this book, he talks about how he was able to grow the restaurant and the principles that helped him grow the restaurant to a very well-known and successful restaurant. And then finally, Will by Will Smith. I highly recommend this one as well. I'll leave a link to all of the books in the description box down below. Secret number 3, stack one win at a time. When Patrick Mahomes ran that play on 3rd and 15th in the fourth quarter with only 7 minutes left in the game, it was the completion of a pass, but it wasn't a touchdown. But what he did was he built off of that win, that small win, which was the completion of the pass. With that completion of the pass, with them moving down the field, it gave him a little bit more confidence. Like, you know what? We're still in this game. We could do this. We could score the touchdown. We're a little bit closer. It took him another 4 plays before they scored the touchdown. But notice what he does after they score the touchdown.
They move to the right side. They throw it back in the end zone. Touchdown! Kansas City!
Bring it. Let's get it. Let's get it. It ain't over. It ain't over. Let's go get it. Go get it. Go get it. Hey, go get it. Go get it. Go get it.
He goes to the sidelines to hype up his team. They're not in the lead. They're still down by 3 points. But he goes to hype them up, to let them know it ain't over. It ain't over. Go get it. He's leveraging this small win. He's leveraging the completion of the pass. He's leveraging the touchdown to go to the sidelines and to remind his team that it ain't over. He's trying to transfer that confidence that he just got to his teammates. Just like a wall is built one brick at a time, you start with one win at a time until you reach your goal. You don't give up. You don't stop short. You stack one win at a time to build unwavering confidence. All right, so far we have looked at number 1, stamina. Number 2, study. Number 3, stack. Secret number 4 to building unwavering confidence, stockpile. Create a confidence bank. Let's say you want to save money on a down payment for a house, and the amount you want to save is $30,000. Now, you don't save $30,000 all at once. You might save $1,000 here, $2,000 there, until you reach your goal of $30,000. But now that you have that stockpile, that $30,000 saved in the bank, you are able to pull from that. In the same way, you want to have a bank of confidence that you're able to pull from. So what's a confidence bank? A confidence bank is one location where you have evidence you have had these small wins. So maybe it is testimonials from clients. Maybe it is you being on stage and knowing, like, when you look at that picture of you on stage, you had a really good talk and the audience loved it. For example, my confidence bank is a photos album in my phone. I have an album that is named Confidence Bank, and in it are testimonials from clients, or it's when I am speaking on stage and I know it was a great time speaking on stage. I get to pull from that on the days that I'm feeling low, I'm feeling like an imposter, or I'm feeling like I'm not cut out for this. I get to pull from that confidence bank. So secret number 4 to building unwavering confidence is to create a confidence bank. There's so much power in visualization, not just in visualization before the fact, but being able to visualize your wins, especially if it's a win that you weren't even 100% sure that you would get. Having the visual representations, the confidence bank of those moments when you've won, those moments, those small wins that you've had over time, helps you keep the right perspective. Like, we're all born with eyes. For the most part, we're able to see out of those eyes. But without the right set of lenses on, you won't have the right perspective. I wear glasses to see far away. So without these glasses on, I won't be able to see the billboard or will be able to see the signs and what they say. And so that is why it's so important to have a confidence bank, to be able to put on the right lenses and think, oh no, this is the real value that I bring. I was sitting here downplaying the value I bring. No, this is the real value that I bring into this moment. One of my favorite shows is a TV show called Billions. And there's this scene that happens in the show Billions with the U.S. District Attorney, Chuck Rhodes. Chuck Rhodes is in Washington Park playing a game of chess with an opponent. It becomes a really good game of chess, so much so that a crowd begins to form. The opponent is methodical and skilled, but Chuck is better. He has an unstoppable attack waiting for him. But then the unthinkable happens. And out of nowhere, this opponent swipes 2 of Chuck's knights. He cheats, and Chuck Rhodes is fuming. He is fired up, upset, ready to go across the table and attack this guy. And as a U.S. District Attorney, he begins to look around to see the people that have formed and trying to second think this moment because he is just fire hot. Well, his eyes lock on to this 12 or 13-year-old boy who's standing there with his father. And this kid is glued to this game. He's mesmerized. And in this moment, Chuck Rhodes sees an opportunity to approach this differently. He lays down his queen, he gets up, he hands the guy a $10 bill for winning the game, and then he leans over and whispers in the guy's ear. He says, I see what you did there. It takes a lot of practice and skill to master that move and make sure no one sees you. I could make your life a living hell, but instead, you see that kid over there? He's gonna play you next, and he's gonna have a really good time playing you. And what he was saying to his opponent is that not only would this kid play him, but that this guy is going to let the kid win. Chuck had managed to do something better than revenge, better than payback. By acting with purpose, he found a way to put joy into a little kid's heart, to give him confidence that would last a lifetime, where he could talk about beating a master at chess at the park, especially when he watched this guy just beat someone else. Chuck had found a different way to win. That is how you build unwavering confidence. Find a different way to win. Have the stamina to not stop short. Study and master your craft. Stack one win at a time, and as you stack one win at a time, then you have a stockpile to build your confidence bank. Put on the right set of lenses and find a different way to win.